This is the Nostromo space team, a crew of 7 trying to make it home to get paid. This is Ash, the ship's science officer, the man with all the answers and a very dark secret. And this is Denis Parker. He's the engineer, and as we're going to see, the one who could have saved them all. You might have thought Alien was just a monster movie in space with slasher-level gore, but with a closer look, it's a story about the fear of missing out and the high price we pay when our gut warns us to avoid signals we were never meant to follow. Hey, I'm Josh with Parable Arrows. Here, we use the stories of popular culture to help us visualize and wrap our heads around biblical truth. Today, we're looking at the 1979 classic Alien, and a specific character's choice that could have changed the film. Alien focuses on a working class crew of haulers. They are on their way home from a job when they're being commanded to head somewhere else. Their ship's AI, Mother, has caught some kind of signal on the planet's surface. The captain explains it seems like a distress call, which sets the crew on edge. This is where Parker comes in. When a detour down to the surface to investigate the signal is brought up, Parker pushes back. In Parker's mind, he has done his job already, and this is being asked to close after working a 12-hour shift. When Ash and the captain tell him they have to investigate the signal, Parker's gut screams no. He wants the Nostromo to stay on their original, simple mission, getting home safely. But Ash plays the FOMO card.
There is a clause in the contract which specifically states any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated.
I don't want to hear it. We don't know that's into.
On penalty of total forfeiture of shares.
Parker folds. He stops his grumbling and decides skipping out on a paycheck isn't in his best long-term interest. The ship lands, the survey team heads out, and they find a whole lot of strange stuff that seems organic. Deeper into the spooky caverns, Kane is attacked by an unknown creature. And from here, the movie becomes the cat and mouse nightmare we all know. Most of the horror of Alien is, yes, the Xenomorph, but there's another element of psychological horror that, in my mind, is a little bit worse. It's something Ripley discovers later on. Special Order 937. Their employing company knew the signal was dangerous, and they knew what the team was going to find. They wanted the Nostromo to capture the Xenomorph because it could be studied and turned into a bioweapon that they could sell. The crew was sent there to retrieve their profitable asset, not to do a good deed. This idea of following a dangerous signal because we're afraid of missing out on something is an ancient human struggle, even back to Bible times. For our example, we're going to break down 1 Samuel 8. At the time of 1 Samuel, Israel was a unique people. They didn't have a king. They had Yahweh, the God of creation, on their side. He worked miracles to set them free from slavery. He parted the Red Sea. He destroyed the pursuing Egyptians. He provided manna in the desert and water from rocks. He made sure Israel was safe and provided for, even in the wilderness. He had crafted an environment that was supposed to thrive on trusting him, not for no reason, but because of the things he'd done. Now, time has a tendency to destroy our gratitude and allegiance. Centuries after these amazing stories, Israel picked up a new signal, one they really wanted to follow. When they looked at the nations around them, they saw cities, armies, and shiny palaces. Who brought all of that in their minds? A king, a human king. They went to the prophet Samuel demanding, "We want a king so we can be like all the other nations." Samuel knew this was a bad move, and he warned them. He told them a king would take their sons for his chariots and their daughters for his kitchens. In other words, this signal you're chasing, it's going to take you somewhere you don't want to go, and it's going to cost you something you don't want to pay. But the people refused to listen. They ignored the gut check their prophet tried to be on their behalf, and they followed the signal. Israel got exactly what they asked for, and it cost them generations of peace. Linking the events and themes of these two stories, I want to invite you to think about your own life, to see if you are picking up and even following any signals you're currently being told you must chase. Signals that you have a gut feeling that, on the one hand, are not all good, but on the other hand, may keep you from something you want deep down. Maybe it's a promotion at work that would bring more money for newer stuff and fancier trips, but would also pull you away from your family. Or maybe it's a relationship with someone that everyone says you should pursue. Your gut is telling you it won't be a healthy one, but you're also terrified you'll end up alone. We often ignore that internal gut check, that Parker moment, because we're terrified of a what if. What if I don't get my share? What if I'm the only one who doesn't have this experience? What if I miss out on something by saying no? The tragedy of Parker is he was right. He knew the detour wasn't worth it. He and the rest of the team had done their job. That was enough. But when he thought about it, the thought of missing out on a paycheck was worse than scouting out a sketchy signal. Part of the Christian faith is accepting that we live in a world full of signals. Some of those signals align with God's heart for our growth and our flourishing. Others are dangerous and seem harmless at first, but once they're followed, reveal their destructiveness. Trusting God is saying yes to where he calls us. It's also saying no to the things he warns us about. To trust God means we test signals when we receive them through his word, prayer, and trusted community. We don't just follow a signal because. That is the kind of daily practice that develops our spiritual maturity, because it requires us to surrender not only our antennas, but also our instincts. So, some questions for you to reflect on. Is there a signal you're hearing in your life right now that you're not sure about? Are you following it? Should you be? What is that signal promising? And what are you afraid you're going to miss out on if you say no to it? Remember, don't be afraid to miss a signal. Sometimes missing out is best. If there's a signal today you think people should watch out for, leave it in the comments. If you like this video, you'll really like our podcast, which is on all major platforms. On it, we break down movie stories and connect them to scripture to better understand God, ourselves, and the world. This has been Josh with Parable Arrows. See you in the next one.